You do not draft a punter in the third round.
Welcome back to SB Nation. The 2012 NFL Draft is over. Let's talk AFC South. Let's start with the Colts. Start at the top.
The top,
yes.
Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts last year without Peyton Manning scored only 243 points, so it was obvious the #1 overall pick is going to be some guy named Luck out of Stanford. I think their value pick that they got was Dwayne Allen, the tight end out of Clemson. They're going to be running a 2 tight end offense this year. You could also say Kobe Fleener out of Stanford, who they took in the second round. If you're going to run 2 tight ends, you got to get some guys who can make plays, and I think Allen can make plays. I think their value pick is Josh Chapman. They came into this draft needing 2 things: quarterback, which they got in Luck, and nose tackle, which they now have in Chapman. So now they can run their 3-4 defense that they want to run under Chuck Pagano. Really, at the end of the day, this draft is about Andrew Luck and surrounding him with talent. Would have preferred more defensive players, but if you're going to take Luck, give him offensive weapons, I give him a B.
Let's go Jags, because that's what it says up there, Jags.
Jags.
Yes.
The Jags, they got some great value on the defensive side of the ball in Andre Branch and outside linebacker Brandon Marshall, but that is not what people are going to be talking about for the next 6 months. In the first round, they moved up, got Justin Blackmon. That's clearly the headliner there. Their passing game was rated dead last in the NFL last year, so hey, you got to get a receiver. Maybe he can be the next Jimmy Smith for them. The real question mark, though, was drafting Cal punter Brian Anger in the 3rd round.
Punting is winning, remember.
Punting is winning.
Rick Neuheisel said.
That is.
You play to punt the ball.
You play to punt the ball. And on the one hand, just strictly from a player ranking perspective, Brian Anger is a fantastic punter. He could flip the field for them. There is some sleeper potential, but you do not draft a punter in the 3rd round.
Nice.
You just don't. So I got to give him a C- just based on that.
Are punters starters? Would you consider
Punters are people.
Punters are people, usually.
Titans, a lot of folks weren't thrilled about their overall draft, and I think that's maybe because they didn't have a glamorous headliner. I'm going to give that to Kendall Wright, wide receiver out of Baylor. All sorts of school records, playing with Robert Griffin III. I actually like him as a weapon with Jake Locker early on in his career because he's a guy you can get the ball to and ask him to make a play after the catch. Defensively, they get Zach Brown, who Mike Mayock the other night said was allergic to contact. But
I'm allergic to contact, too, in all fairness.
Yeah, but you're not a linebacker.
That's true.
But he's fast, and he's perfectly positioned to play that weak inside linebacker position and run all over the field, make plays. We'll see just how allergic he really is. I'm going to give my best value to Marquel Martin. This is a free safety out of Oklahoma State who a little bit undisciplined, but some people had him as the top free safety in the draft. So if you get him in round 6, that's got to be considered great value. We'll see if he pans out. I think he'll be able to contribute on special teams right away. And then Taylor Thompson is my sleeper pick. He's was a defensive end at SMU. Probably another guy who was allergic to a little bit of contact. Not a very physical.
Hence the T and the E next to his name. Yeah,
that's right. But he's going to make the move to tight end at the next level. 6'6", looks the part, and really high upside if he can pan out and be another weapon in the seam for Jake Locker. So all in all, give it a B-. I think there's plenty of players there that can turn into quality pros.
Yeah. Pretty good, not terrific. I sort of feel the same way about the Houston Texans. They address not necessarily a need in the front 7, but they've been so good up front on defense. And losing Mario Williams, you need to replace a player like that. Whitney Merciless dominated the Big Ten, ended up in a lot of backfields in conference. So I like the pick a lot there. Jared Crick is sort of a value pick for me, even though he went down with an injury last season. He fills a need on that defense to be a 3-4 end, a rotation guy. He's not going to come in right away and dominate, but the fact that he played defensive tackle and defensive end at Nebraska in a 4-3 system makes him ideal in that end position. And the other need that they did address, but I'm just not crazy about exactly how they addressed it, is the receiver position, looking on the other side of the ball from Andre Johnson. They needed that because, especially with last year, Owen Daniels and Arian Foster sort of tried to pick up the slack, but you really like a WR next to a guy putting up numbers in the receiving game. So DeVere Posey, pretty good at Ohio State, some alligator arm concerns, and Keyshawn Martin, sort of the 2nd best receiver at Michigan State, but could be a sleeper, could be sort of a forgotten guy. So I think he could produce, but I'm just not crazy about it, and that's where I end up with the Texans with a B-.
Merciless comes in and replaces Mario Williams, that outside linebacker position?
Eventually, I think he doesn't.
Not right away?
He'll come in and he'll play the position. I don't think he replaces the production of Mario Williams. I think it's sort of impossible.
And all of a sudden, Chris Johnson gets right back on track running.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, it is a running back division if you look at the teams with MJD, with Chris Johnson, with Arian Foster, so the front seven is important. Agree or disagree with the AFC South and their picks or our analysis? Comment down below. Subscribe up above for all of our draft wraps and grades. We'll see you soon.
No Donald Brown love?
No, none
at all.
None at all.